Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really beautiful Korean folktale called The Snail Bride. It's this timeless story that touches on, loneliness, a bit of magic, and that tricky balance between having patience and just going for what you love.
All right, but before we jump in, let me ask you something. Just imagine this. You're all alone, maybe walking through a field, and you hear a voice, a clear voice, and you realize it's coming from a tiny shell. What would you even do? Seriously, think about it, and keep that thought in your head as we get into the story.
So our story kicks off in this quiet little village, and it's all about a lonely guy whose life is about to get, well, pretty weird.
Okay, so picture this. Way out in a remote mountain village, there's this really kind but super poor bachelor. His whole life, literally, is just this small rice field, and he's out there every single day, from sunup to sundown, just all by himself. So one day, he's out there working, and he just lets out this huge sigh. You can just feel the loneliness, right? He looks out at the empty field and basically says to himself, man, who am I ever going to share all this with? And then, something totally impossible happens. A voice, clear as day, seems to come out of nowhere and replies, you can share it with me, of course. He whips around, totally stunned, right? But there's nobody there. He's looking everywhere, and then his eyes land on this one, single, really big snail. He's just mystified, maybe even a little enchanted. So he decides to take this strange snail home with him. He puts it in a jar with some water to, take care of it. And this is where things start to get really magical. From that day on, the bachelor's life is turned upside down by this amazing but kind of baffling mystery. So check this out. Every single evening, he comes home, totally wiped out from working in the field, and there's a full, hot meal waiting for him. And we're talking delicious, perfectly cooked food. He has absolutely no idea where it's coming from.
So this is the big question, right? The one that's just eating away at him. Who is doing this? Who on earth is making these incredible meals for him? He just had to know.
So he hatches this little plan. It's simple, but pretty clever. One morning, he acts like he's heading out to the fields, business as usual. But then he sneaks back, finds a good hiding spot, and just watches the kitchen. And what he sees, it's just unbelievable. It leaves him absolutely breathless. He watches as this beautiful woman literally emerges from the snail shell and starts cooking. Can you even imagine? He's just completely mesmerized watching her prepare his meal. Okay. So this next part, this is the major turning point of the whole story. It's that classic moment where your heart just takes over, and it leads to a huge, life-changing decision. He just can't take it anymore. He's so overwhelmed with shock and gratitude and, love that he bursts out of his hiding spot. He runs into the kitchen and just begs her, right then and there, to stay with him and be his wife.
And here's where we get the big conflict. She tells him, look, I'm a fairy from heaven. This is a punishment. It's not time yet. You have to wait. She's asking for patience. But him, he's head over heels. He just can't imagine his life without her. He tells her, I can't live a single day without you. It's pure, desperate emotion.
And his sincerity, it works. It moves her. So the snail bride makes a choice. She breaks her shell, the thing that was both her home and her prison, and agrees to marry him. And just like that, they're married. So now we're in the final part of their story. And yeah, they're incredibly happy together. But because they rushed things, they're now open to all the problems that come with being, a normal mortal couple. And for a while, everything is perfect. Just pure happiness. But of course, that kind of happiness gets noticed. A powerful local official, a magistrate, happens to see the snail bride. He's so struck by how beautiful she is that he gets totally consumed by greed and decides he has to have her for himself. So the magistrate tries to just take her by force, and this becomes their biggest challenge yet. But their love is just so strong, so real, that the heavens themselves actually step in. The bad guy gets punished, and our couple is reunited. They're finally free to live happily ever after. And that brings us to the end. Yeah, they got their happy ending, but they really had to fight for it. So it makes you wonder, right? What if the bachelor had actually listened? What if he just waited a little longer like she asked? How would the story have changed? Would their life have been easier? Or maybe it was his impatience, that absolute refusal to wait, that actually proved his love and earned them their happiness in the end. It's definitely something to think about.